Hello and welcome to a little something on the edge as opposed to a little something on the side. Right, so what we're going to look at today is this little specimen right here, and it is a small specimen. So this is a Voxnaes baby core. So you do get the full-size core, and this is the smaller version of that. Designed by, and there's his very nice logo, designed by Voxnaes, Jesper Voxnaes, the designer out of Denmark. And I've also recently done another review of one of his knives, the Fox Suru. So let's set this down and go through some of the specs of the knife. So the blade is the Bokeh N690, stone washed, as you can see. The handle is FRN, so basically a plastic but very tough. It is a stainless steel liner lock, and it's sort of wrapped in the FRN, but if you look on the inside there, you might, if I get the light on it, might be able to see the stainless steel on the inside. We've got an aluminium anodized back spacer, and then a stainless steel wire pocket clip. I actually really like wire pocket clips. I don't know why these aren't done more often. Practical, and I think it actually looks really good. Dimensions of the knife, let's go through that. So we've got a blade length of 6 centimeters or 2.36 inches, blade thickness of 3 millimeters or 0.12 inches. Overall length of the knife is 14.5 centimeters, and that's 5.71 inches. And then the stated weight is 80 grams, and I'm going to check that because quite often I see a discrepancy between manufacturer's stated weights and actual stated weight. So we'll just pull on the old scale here, get it centered on the light so it all looks very nice. There we go. Crank that up. Zeroed, and we're on ounces. So the stated weight is 2.82 ounces. 2.8 ounces. Okay. Looks like we're good to go. And 80 mils, the same thing. Flick that to grams. 80 grams. There we go. Spot on to manufacturer's claims. Good. Weight, not weight, overall thickness of the knife. I don't think that I measured that. Let's have a quick look here. My caliper is lying here, and we'll have a look at that. And we've got 0.53 inches, and that is, hit it to convert, there we go, 13.6 millimeters. So not the thinnest knife, but you know, with a knife being this small, having that little bit of girth to it does actually make it nice and comfortable in hand. So in terms of the design, we've got the sheep's foot blade, but this again is quite typical of Vox's knives. It is quite distinctive. It's a very clean kind of design, but it does have a sort of a Vox look about it, and I'll pull up the Suru in a second and show you what I mean. But comfortable in hand with that little bit of extra girth. I've got medium-sized hands. The back, you can see my back finger. My little finger, this is my back finger from now on. My little finger falling off the back of the knife there a bit, but still very comfortable. This shaped scale on the knife really does feel good in hand, and you can see how it's been shaped around the finger choil area as well. So you get a really good grip with those fingers over there. Oh, those, well, maybe they are front and back fingers, I don't know. And then you can see a little finger choil at the front in the blade, so that you can choke up on the blade. It's not the biggest, but you can get your finger in there relatively safely for, you know, doing a little bit of that fine work. You know, for heavy work, you probably want to get your hand a little further from that blade. And then we've got this little cutout in the blade here. So in terms of deployment, it is running on ball bearings. So you've got the flipper, and it flies out rather smoothly. It's yeah, too light to be a drop shuddy knife, especially under the pressure of the liner lock. But you can actually use that little hole there as well, and you know, you get the fleshy part of your thumb in there. and you can fluff it. Let's try that again. Right, let's do it carefully this time so I don't. Oh, there we go. Right, so you can thumb flick it. I'm having trouble with this one to get the Spidey flick going. It just doesn't want to work for me. There may be those that can do it. I'm not the best Spidey flicker, but it just seems, I try any angle I try, it just doesn't want to release for me. But yeah, small knife. The knife is available in a number of options. So you get just in the FRN, and I'm waving this thing so much around there, I'm probably making you all drunk. So just on the FRN handles, you get this in a couple of different colors. So you get a blue handle that then has an orange backspacer. You get an orange handle that has a black backspacer, and then you get a black version that has a black stone washed blade as well. In fact, the orange and the black scale version have the black stone washed blade, and the orange and blue handles have the stainless steel colored stone washed blade. You also get a sort of more upmarket version of the knife with a titanium handle, and then they've upgraded the steel on it as well, where you get it with the Bokeh M390 steel. And then there's one with a carbon fiber handle that also has that upgraded steel, and then one with a micarta handle, again with the upgraded steel. So a number of options for you. If you like the knife, you can go for a more expensive one, or you can go for these, and you get to choose a color that matches your mood or decor or attire. Hardware on the knife is all Torx, so no proprietary hardware. And you've probably spotted that the clip is tip up, and it is reversible. Left is rejoice. So completely ambidextrous knife with the tab, with the flipper tab and the hole and the reversible pocket clip. Nice and small knife, very pocketable, light, and as I said, comfortable in hand. I think a really good choice for EDC, discreet, and not going to make people dive under their desks if you happen to pull this out in an office environment. The blade, it did come sharp. It's got one of those fox edges again. I don't know what they're doing when they do their edges. So see if I can show this. If you look at the edge on that side, and then you look at the edge on that side, this edge on this side is probably almost double the width of the edge on the other side, and you can just see those rough grind lines on it. Yeah, they really need to do something about this. And why I'm saying that is because, I bought a Fox Suru recently. It's a beautifully made knife and really good materials. And I had to go through three before I found one with a decently done edge on. And when I say decent, just even. The two sides being even. It was also done roughly like this. In fact, I've actually got that knife here, and I'll pull that out. So. This after the third version, but it's got that little wobbly, edge over there, and you can see the rough grind lines on this knife as well. So yeah, I don't know what Fox are doing when they put the edge on the knife, because they're beautifully made knives, and then there's just a couple of things that just let the side down. It's not enough to put me off buying one, but I would be careful if I bought this knife to find one with a better edge than this one, where the two sides at least match, and then you can always touch up that edge. Interestingly, though, this knife considerably less expensive than the Suru that I bought. And if you saw the review, if you haven't seen the review of the Suru, please check that out. I spoke about this hole that's cut in that's just completely unfinished, no chamfering, and it's not cleaned up on the inside of that hole. Now, this one, the Fox Core, which is a cheaper knife, has been beautifully finished around there. The inside is nicely finished. The edge is chamfered. So when you get the flesh of your thumb in there, when you flick it open, you're not leaving your thumb behind as you are on this knife. Yeah, as I said in the review of this knife, I still recommend it. It is a beautifully made knife. It's just, it's got a couple of those quirks. But funny how they didn't finish it off on that knife, and they did on this one. Now, I spoke about Jesper's sort of distinctive look about his knives, and there's two lying together, and you can kind of see they have a little bit of a design language about them, even though this is more sheep's foot than that one. I suppose this is modified sheep's foot or modified drop point. I don't know what you'd actually call that. But in general, you can get a feeling of the shape of the knife that is a definite kind of Vox vibe about it. I brought unfortunately a horribly made knife, but still a nice shape. It's a knife that CRKT made, and it's the Batum. I'm not sure how you pronounce this, but that's also a Voxnaes design. But again, you can see that design language running through all those knives. This knife, I don't know if I'll ever do a review of this, but it's just a really horribly made knife. CRKT made another one of these designs, the Pilar, and the Pilar is actually really, really nicely made. So I don't know what went wrong when they produced this. But anyway, this is not a review of that knife. That's just to give you an idea of that. When I spoke about his designs having a sort of a look about them, you can see that flowing. You can see that in the design language across those knives there. I've also brought a few of these fixed blade knives. So Bokeh produced a number of his fixed blade knives, and even there you can kind of see that design language. So this was the Vox Bob that was produced by Bokeh. I can see a chunk of a blade on there to give you a little bit of perspective on that. But yeah, nice fixed blade knife there. And then they did a smaller version of that, but also Vox design. This one was called Bobby, but again, you can kind of see that he's got a bit of a style to his knives. There's just something about it that also a chunky blade on that one. I absolutely love it. And then I got one more. It was this one was the what did they call this? The pry bar, the mini pry bar. And again, you can see that distinctive look across the design of his knives. This was also a Bokeh produced little fixed blade of his. Right, so now I think one of these days I'm going to have to do a little Jesper Voxnaes knife review or I look at his knives. So let's get out the way as I lose the words that I'm trying to say. I think I've covered most of the stuff on the knife. I suppose what's left to do is just to speak about size, do a little bit of a size comparison. And I've got my, you guys are getting used to it if you've seen any of my other videos, my Benchmade Mini Barrage. So it's considerably smaller than that knife. So, it gives you a sense of this is a very discreet, very small knife, but at the same time, very usable. More in line with that size would be something like the Medford Der Hund. And you can see if you're looking for a knife in that, in either of those sizes, if you're looking for a knife, the size, if you're looking for a knife around about the size of the Der Hund, this will suit you. That's what I'm trying to say. So that's similar. Let's get him out the way. And then we've got the Kaiser Mini Sheepdog, also round about the same size knife. And we've also got the Kaiser Cyberblade. No, we'll do that again. There we go. Cyberblade, round about the same size. Cool, it gives you a sense of that. And then I brought, and now I can't remember the name of this knife, but it's the Bestech. You'll recognize the shape. Maybe I'll just add the name of that at the bottom, but also same sort of knife, same sort of size. So if you have or wanted any of those other knives, here's another option of those at a relatively decent price point. Well made, except for, as I say, just be aware of that edge. Make sure the version that you get is decent. But other than that, great little EDC. So in terms of price of this knife, so locally in South Africa, once again, guys, I got this knife. It's on loan for review and for me to handle for a few days, see how it carries, from Blades and Triggers in South Africa. Bowen and his team are really helpful. They do have a national footprint in South Africa. So from them, 2,095 Rand. And then I've seen this, if you want to know the USD price, at Blade HQ for 69.95. So expect to pay that kind of price. But yeah, great knife. I recommend it. I would be cautious of that edge. Make sure that you get a good one. And other than that, you know, from what I've seen and handled and owned, Voxnaes, I should say, certainly make a good product. Guys, thanks very much. Appreciate you popping in. If you like this video, do give it a thumbs up. Please subscribe. If you've got any comments, suggestions, put them in below. But please do subscribe and help me grow this channel. And once again, thanks again, and God bless.